Today we're going to learn how to create a new user in Joomla. If you have a website and you're doing some work editing pages and keeping up the site, and you want to add someone to help with that, writing blogs or doing the same thing you're doing, but you don't know how to create a new user and you don't want to share your username and password, you would come in here. This is the control panel. You've already logged in, and you go to this site button in the top left, you hover over it, and you'll see a button here called User Manager. This is what you'll want to go into to create a new user. Click on that. And here we are, and here you can see the two users of our website, me and Andrew Scott. And if we wanted to add a new user, we'd go over to New, this new button in the top right. Click on that, and it will give us this little form. Now let's just say that the person I want to add is Simon Bar Sinister. He's a friend of mine. That's his name, and we'll give him the username just Simon, and punch in his email, simon@radioactivepig.com. Don't email that, it won't get you anything. And let's just say password will be evil. Now, as we look into this, you'll see this group box, and this group box is saying, what does this person do? Now, since we're only going to be using public back-end logins, meaning that people aren't going to log in on the front of the site. There isn't going to be this obvious login. You have to go to the administrator page. We only are going to use these three, but on some sites you'll be able to register them as an author or an editor in the public front end. So because of that, we have this public backend, and we have a manager, administrator, and a super administrator. Obviously these are hierarchy things. Now I am a super administrator, so I don't want him to be a super administrator as well, most likely, unless he is equal to me in terms of hierarchy of whatever organization you're part of. So we're just going to make him a manager so he can come in and modify pages that exist or whatnot. And also at the end of the day, if need be, I can get rid of him, or it's not a big deal. Once you've selected that, come over to the right of the page here. It says parameters, and not much of this is important. You can sort of leave the back and front end language. But user editor, let's assume Simon Bar Sinister is not a developer or a web designer or things like that, doesn't know HTML and CSS. So what we want to select for user editor is this editor TinyMCE. TinyMCE is this great editor where you can punch in just text, and use spaces, and Joomla will actually put in the HTML for you, so that user doesn't have to have a deep technical knowledge. It'll also allow him to do things like put in bold the text, use italics, and it'll be a simple thing for him. And lastly, we want to select the right time zone. Now I know Simon Bar Sinister lives in New York or something like that, so we select the right time zone for him. We look over everything, and we save, and there he is, Simon Bar Sinister. And that's how you create new users.